Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Back when I was living in Kent, Ohio, and finishing my doctoral work, this is about 35 years ago, um, there were few places to shop. There are lots more now, but back then there weren't lots. I went to the Whole Food Market, the grocery store, and the drugstore. One day I went to the drugstore, and I looked up, and there was this security camera and a sign that said, "Shoplifters will be prosecuted." And there was a hand on the picture, and the hand was black. And I went, ooh, hmm. Now, at the time, the black population of Kent was probably maybe 2%. Maybe. And I had been in the store and had situations where people would kind of follow me around. And once a cashier had accused me of stealing while I was paying for my goods. So I went up to one of the cashiers. In fact, it was the same one working that day. And I said, "I'd like to speak to the manager." And she said, "What for?" I said, "What I need to talk to him about." She said, "What is it that you need to talk to him about?" I said, "We can play this game all day, but I need to talk to the manager. And I don't want to talk to you." So she calls the manager down on the loudspeaker. He comes down and we start chatting. And I said, "Oh, are you from here?" And no, I went to school here and I studied poli-sci and blah, blah, blah. And I'm working here until I can go on back to graduate school. And we had a nice conversation. So I said, "I want to talk to you about these signs." And he said, "Well, yeah, we had to install cameras. We have so much stealing going on." I said, "Yeah, but why is it on the sign that the hand is a black woman? Are all of your thieves black?" And he said, "No, no, why would you? No, of course not. I mean, in fact, I don't think we've arrested anybody or, had to stop any shoplifter who was black." I said, "Oh, then why is the hand black?" Well, I said, "No, no, no. What group would you say most of those people are?" "Well, they're mostly young teenage white girls come in after school and they're stealing cosmetics." I said, "And yet you put this sign over here in what you all like to call ethnic needs. Why is that? And you got a black hand on it." He said, "I never even thought about it." I said, "But you did. You know the numbers of who's stealing. You know which section they're stealing from. And you deliberately put it over here with a black hand on it." And I've been followed around this store more often than I care to admit. He said, "I really didn't." I said, "No, no, 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 no. This unconscious stuff, no. You're conscious of it. You just chose to do that. It's called scapegoating." He was like, "You're right. And thank you for pointing it out. And I'm going to take it down." I said, "Yeah, but I'm tired of pointing it out. And I'm tired of people like this cashier accusing me of stealing. I don't steal." So he thanked me and what have you. Here's the thing. Scapegoating is something we do when we don't want to assign our own self the blame that for what it is that we've done. And we start doing this early on when we're kids and somebody took the last cookie. "It wasn't me. Bubby took it." And you blame someone else for what it is that you know you did. It's scapegoating. It comes from the biblical term scapegoat, that you need a ram in the bush to take the place of the goat that was to be sacrificed. Scapegoating, that's where that term comes from. We do this with our stereotyping. We do this with whatever. Now, when I was teaching about stereotypings, I would tell my students that there's an example of anything in any group. You can find no stereotype is completely true, no stereotype is completely false. You can find a black person who likes fried chicken. You can find a white person that doesn't smell like a dog when they get wet. I know you probably never heard that. What's also very interesting in this dynamic is that people of color know the stereotypes that whites have of them, but whites tend to not know the stereotypes that people of color have about them. And it's not as much as we've been saying that this is a power dynamic, and it is. But when you think you're so powerful that you don't need to know what other people are thinking about you, you better think again. We have scapegoated our ills and our problems onto others because we don't want to deal with our own stuff. And it is time that people look in their own house, at their own children, at their own parents, at their own puppies, and say, what can we do to make this country better? Rather than saying, those neighbors came here and messed up our house, our neighborhood. Maybe you should look in your house. Instead of scapegoating onto somebody else, maybe the ills and the problems, the abuse, the hatred, the divisiveness is starting right there. In fact, don't just look in your house, look in your head. I love you, and I know we're going to get there, but we need to take responsibility for who we are, how we are, and what we're going to be. I love you.